welcome back to our channel. It's Aaliyah.
And Daisy.
And Isaiah's here.
My little baby.
Say hi. Alright, so today we're just going to be talking about our labor and delivery story. So we did end up posting a vlog of our labor and delivery. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that first. But I also wanted to just come on here and actually tell our story because we didn't get a lot of the stuff that happened to us during our labor and delivery story because of the pandemic. So much happened to us and just it was a mess for us, honestly. And I really love watching these videos of other people, so I just thought that we could make one too. I do have like everything written out right here next to me because I honestly can't remember what happened. All the days are kind of like blurred together, so I had to really like think about what happened, what was happening. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and please like and subscribe down below. Alright, so on May 19th, I had a doctor's appointment, and we went to my doctor, my OB, and she was gonna sweep my membranes.
Sweet.
Yeah. My due date was on May 21st, which is the day that she was born. So this is May 19th. We went to my doctor. I got my membrane swept, which is basically it's just her checking me, but she like moves stuff around in there, and it's just like get things loosened up to go into labor. And then that day nothing really happened. We went on a walk. I did some stairs and stuff at my mom's house too, and then we came home and everything was fine. And then about, I would say like 1 in the morning, I started feeling a bunch of contractions, but Brennan was sleeping. And then eventually at like 5 a.m. I was tracking him on my phone, and I had this app, and the app kept telling me to go to the hospital because they were super close.
That shit had me spooked. I was like, damn, it's time to go.
Yeah, so my contractions were super close, so I finally woke Brendan up at like 5, and we went into the hospital. When we got there, I was able to like live through the contractions. I feel like I was like, dang, if these are birthing contractions, like I'm good, like I can handle this, right?
That shit was sweet.
I thought that was it. So we went into the hospital, and they checked me, and they were like, you're only 1.5 centimeters. So they were like, but your contractions are really close, and they're really strong. They're 2 to 3 minutes apart, and that's usually what they're supposed to be when you're going into labor. And so they were like, oh, here's some Benadryl, go home and sleep because you're gonna need your rest for this labor.
Throw some Benadryl on it.
Yeah, which I don't know, I just felt was really weird because my mom was like, why would they give you Benadryl? Like, that doesn't make any sense. We went home. Brendan ordered me some food because it was like 8 or 9 in the morning. We ate Denny's. It's actually pretty good.
I know, that shit was hitting.
I felt fine. And then we took a nap until like 12 o'clock. And then my mom came back over to my house, and we went on like a bunch of walks.
We walked for at least 2 hours.
Yeah, like we went on a really long walk.
On and off 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. So then once we were done walking, we came back inside, and I was feeling contractions like hecka hard. And I was like, okay, I think it's time to go. So let's just like get everything ready. I was like, let's just get everything ready so that we can go to the hospital. So I went to the bathroom as soon as we got inside, and I realized that my mucus plug had came out. And then I also realized that on my underwear that it was like wet. So I was like, oh dang, I don't know if this is my water or not. Which it ended up being my water. My water was leaking, but I didn't know that at the time. So then Brendan put me in the shower. He got everything ready, everything in the car, and then about like 7 o'clock at night, we went back to the hospital that we just came from the night before. So we went back to the hospital, and then we got into Brendan put me in a wheelchair. We walked upstairs. Brendan stayed in the waiting room while I got checked in, and when you get checked into the hospital to go into labor or anything, they make you pee in a cup. Had me pee in a cup, and when I went into the bathroom to go pee in the cup, as soon as I shut the bathroom door, like water just gushed out, like my water broke more, and I was like, oh shit, like what do I do, you know? So I just kind of like poked my head out the door to the lady, and I was like, I think my water just broke some more. Like, what? Do you still want me to pee in this cup? She's like, yeah, you're fine. Just clean yourself up. I was like, oh shit, this is really happening. Like, I'm really going into labor now. Like, there's no sending me home with some Benadryl. Like, I'm definitely going into labor. Okay, so I got put into the other room, and they wanted me to change. And as I was changing, or as I was going to change, my water broke even more. So there was water all over the floor in the bathroom and in the room that they just put me in to get checked and wait for the doctor. And then Brendan finally came in, and he's like, why the fuck is there water all over the place? So we waited for the doctors after I changed and after my water broke and stuff.
Hallelujah.
After my water broke and stuff, and the doctor came in and she checked me, and she was like, you're still only 1.5 centimeters, so you're at risk for an infection because your water broke, but you're you're not progressing in centimeters at all. They took us into the room that I was going to be giving birth in, and my contractions started like getting stronger and stronger. They were already super close, but they started getting super, super strong out of nowhere. And I was having really bad back labor, so the nurse told me, like, if anything is going to help you, like, laying in bed is not going to help you, so you need to get up and do, like, walk around, blah, blah, and I was like, okay. I asked her for the birthing ball, which she did give me, so I was up walking around with Brendan and stuff, and then he helped me on the birthing ball. He did a really, really good job at pushing on my back while I was having contractions. So if anybody out there is having back labor, have your significant other like push on your lower back, and it feels so good. It takes not all the pain away, but it definitely helps. Like, it really helped me.
I felt like your back was like, it had hella pressure.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt like her head was like right there.
It hurts so bad. So bad. And then after we were on the ball for a while, I don't even really remember when it switched, but all of a sudden, like, I felt like I could not take the pain anymore. I was like, I'm ready for drugs. And they had, they had offered me morphine and this other medication that goes through an IV or whatever. But I said that I didn't want it because they said that it would make me feel drunk or nauseous, and I get nauseous already super easily. And I thought that I was gonna get nauseous during labor and throw up already, so I didn't want to get the medicine because I was like, why would I want something that makes me more nauseous? You know, I was like, I'll just wait for the epidural. But at that point, I was like, I need the epidural right now. And they tried to offer me those other medicines, but I told them no. And then the lady's like, okay, well, I'll order the epidural, but it's gonna take a while. Which is so stupid. Like, you're the labor and delivery like floor, but because of the pandemic, what they say,
they had to they only have like one person going to get the medications, so like they send one person like as a messenger to go get medications and then hand them back in, so they have to go to a whole different building just to get medicine instead of having the medicine like
up there
right there with the people that are about to give birth. Like, there should be like another like section that you can like take it out of or something to make sure you have it ready. But
yeah, so I really tried my hardest to wait until I felt like I couldn't take it anymore, and then I told them. But honestly, because of the fact that I had to wait, I was like way past my limit. Like, I was way past it. So they told me they were gonna have to order it, and she was like, oh, you can get in the shower, that might help. So Brendan put me in the shower, but that did not freaking help at all. The water pressure sucked, and that's what I was like looking forward to. I was looking forward to like it hitting me and like maybe taking away some of the pressure.
But it was like warm mist.
At one point, I just looked up at Brendan and I could see like the concern on his face, which scared me because like he looked so worried for me.
Didn't do nothing. Like, you're in pain. I asked you what you want. You just saying like you don't know.
Like, I did not know.
Like, there's nothing I can do for you. Like, I got you to the shower. I'm just waiting until you're done, honestly.
Yeah. Brendan was doing a really, really good job at just trying to make me feel the most comfortable that I could feel, which really was not that comfortable at the time. Eventually, I got out the shower. I was getting cold. Like, it wasn't helping, and I was just freezing. So Brendan got me out the shower, and I got into the bed. And they did give me morphine, which was the shot in my butt. And so I got that. That did not freaking help. So I told them, I was like, I need the epidural, and they were like, it's still not ready. So then they gave me the medication through my IV. And so yeah, that's another reason why they weren't giving me the epidural right away, because I wasn't dilating fast enough, and they didn't want to give it to me too early. But they also weren't checking me often, like my dilation, because they didn't want to keep going in there, because that puts me at even more of a risk for an infection, and I was already at a risk because it was hours going by and my water had broke and I hadn't given birth yet. Like, Brendan said that I was like quivering in pain.
Because you were like breathing, you were doing your breathing, you were going, ooh, you sound like a pigeon. You sound like a pigeon, that shit was purring.
I don't really remember that.
It was vibrating.
Yeah, so my contractions are hella freaking strong. And they were super, super close, like so close. And then the epidural finally came.
Your contractions seemed like they were non-stop.
Yeah.
Like they
were so close.
They were, yeah. It wasn't like 10 minutes goes by and then like, oh, it's here it comes again. It was like, it's coming, it's there, here comes another one. Like there was another one right after. Like there was no like break really in between.
Yeah, they were hella close. The nurses kept saying like, oh my God, your contractions are so strong and so close. Like you're gonna have this baby anytime. Like, no, I'm not, because I'm not dilated. Like, yeah. Then the epidural finally came. It was so amazing. They like lift the bed all the way up, and Brennan was sitting on the other side of me, like holding me. The epidural did not hurt. By the time, it really is true what they say. By the time you get the epidural, your contractions are so strong that you don't even feel it. Like I did not feel anything with the epidural. It was like a very tiny pinch, like a regular getting your blood drawn type of needle. That's what it felt like. So yeah, I got the epidural, and once I got the epidural, dude, I went to sleep. Yeah, so they woke me up at 12 and they were like, let's check you, and they checked me and they were like, you're 10 centimeters dilated. So after the epidural, I didn't feel anything.
No, once they said 10, like, cause like they were saying how slow you were. Once they said 10, nigga, I woke up so quick. Cause I was facing the other, like I was trying to get sleep. Like I was facing the other way, facing the couch and shit. They said 10 centimeters. I flipped around so quick. Let's get it.
So then they got everything set up. It was just really one nurse, but she got everything set up. She had the midwife come in, and the midwife was like, oh yeah, like she's almost ready. Like you can get everything set up for her to have the baby. And then we started pushing. So I pushed for an hour, and then after that hour, she took my temperature, and that's when she was like, oh, you have a fever. So we're gonna give you antibiotics to help you help your fever come down, because they thought that I had a uterus infection from my water breaking hours before and not going into labor. That was a lot. But so that's when my fever started, like an hour into me pushing. And then I pushed for another hour, and then our beautiful little baby was born at 2:02 p.m.
7 pounds, 10 ounces, 20 and a half inches long.
Yes, hers was so perfect. They put her on me, and she stayed on me the whole entire time. She had a little fever too. They did not weigh her. They did not check how long she was. They didn't do any of that. All they did was check our temperatures and put her on me. One lady, I don't even remember.
I checked the time. It was like 5:38. She was born at 2:02. She didn't get weighed until 5:38. Like that's like 3 to 4 hours later. I don't know if that's just how they do it now, but I'm pretty sure you get weighed like first, right? Like you get washed up and everything. They weigh.
So when she came out, she pooped on me. Like she was pooping when she came out. And this is the best way that I explain it. So she pooped on me when she came out, and then they checked our fevers. They cleaned her off a little bit, like, but there was still stuff all over us. Like her poop, there was like stuff from me giving birth to her. Like we were just a mess.
Blood, just everything. Everything you could think of that would be like at the time of giving birth.
Was
like,
on both of us.
Not me. Yeah, on both of them.
Both of us, yeah.
They just kind of just pulled her out, put her right there. They were trying to clean, like they cleaned off her body, like Nisha's body, but like there was still stuff like all over Aliyah's arms and
like all over her head and stuff.
In her hair, there was tons of stuff in the same
it was just not what I expected to be happening. But I was so happy and like so relieved that she was here and she was okay that I didn't really realize all this until after. So they put her on me and then they were checking my temperature, checking her temperature. They shoved my tit into her mouth.
They grabbed her titty like it was a sandwich.
After I gave birth and all this stuff was happening and they were like checking our temperatures and stuff, the doctor that delivered her was at the end of the bed and she just kept saying to me, like, you're losing a lot of blood. You lost a lot of blood. You lost a lot of blood. And her face, like, we couldn't see anything because she had a mask, but like her eyes were getting really big every time she said it. Like she would look at me and be like, oh my God, you lost so much blood. Like, and Brendan said that he seen the bag and it was like a shit ton of blood, like garbage bag.
Like if you was about to rob somebody's house with a garbage bag, like it was like them hefty bags, them big ass bags, and she was pushing on your stomach to like get all like the extra blood and like get your your uterus and all your organs and shit back down. They were pushing on your stomach and like it was coming out like Kool-Aid, like into the bag. And, like,
I didn't feel any of it. I didn't even feel her coming out. Yeah, she kept saying that and that was concerning me. And then they also kept saying, your fever hasn't gone down. It should have gone down.
No shit, it's been 5 seconds.
Your fever hasn't gone down. It should have gone down. It was an hour from when they gave me the antibiotics. And then I was like, well, like there was nothing that I could say. They kept telling me like, you're losing a lot of blood. Your fever hasn't gone down. This and this and this, but like, what the fuck was I supposed to do?
Yeah, and she feels fine. She looks fine. Everything is fine.
I was so happy, and I had my baby, and I felt fine. I didn't throw up
heart
during labor.
Rate, everything was where it needed to be. The only thing they said the fever, yes, but like literally as soon as they put her on her chest, boom. You're fucking hot. Like, no shit. Like, I just fucking pushed a human out.
Yeah. But and it's very, very common for people to have fevers during labor. At that point, I didn't really know, and I wasn't really thinking about
ourselves.
that. Yeah.
We don't have our parents to, like, kind of, you know
like,
what I'm saying?
Or
grandparents, nothing. So we were by ourselves. They kind of, like, forced us to, like, do certain shit. Like, because we don't know. We don't know what
this is our first baby.
Options. Yeah. Like, we know from experience. We know how certain things are supposed to go. We know what's in our head. But they're not, like, reassuring us this is how it's supposed to go. Or we didn't really feel like we had options to do anything. They just kind of told us what was going on, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you have a fever. Oh, really? I feel fine. I feel great. Like, if she was at home, she would not be saying, let's go to the hospital type shit. No. Like, they I don't know, they kind of blew shit out of proportion, I feel like, and made things way worse than it needed to be.
They really did. And
especially
I was being so, like, positive, and, like, I was so happy, and I was really trying to hold it down. Like, even when I was having contractions, I was trying not to make like a big scene because that would have like gave me more anxiety. I was just trying to be as calm as I could. And at that point I was being super calm, but they were saying stuff to me to make me freak out, I feel like. Yeah,
they were okay.
Like they wanted me to freak out.
50-50. Like there was like half nurses that would come in and just be like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
And then other people were like, you're doing great. Yeah. Like this will be over quick. Those are the type, but we don't know who it is. There's 15 nurses that come in there.
We had so many nurses.
But they all have masks on too, so you don't even know who you're talking to.
Yeah. So originally they all had masks on just because of the coronavirus, so they had to have the mask on, right? We didn't because we were in our own room, but like when we walk into the hospital, you have to have the mask on. So they already had like a regular face mask on. But then after I had a fever, she had a fever, I was losing a bunch of blood, the antibiotics weren't working, everyone was freaking out, blah, blah. There was shit all over me, shit all over Nisea. And then eventually, everyone just left. Like, I feel like I closed my eyes, like I blinked, and I opened my eyes and everyone was gone.
There was like 9 doctors in there at once, and then it went to nothing.
Yeah, and then no one was in there. Yeah. And then one person came back in. I don't even know which one it was because
she was fully gowned up.
She came up in like in a minion outfit. That's what she looked like to me. What she looked like to you?
Area 51 type scientist, like head to toe. I was like hazmat.
Like her shoes were down.
2319. Monsters Inc.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what she looked like. Mm-hmm. Like I was a fucking sock in the room. I was so mad, like, and then, well, what really, really made me mad is that she came into the room and she looked at me with a smile on her face. So the mask was clear. Yeah, the mask was clear, so I could see her face, but it was like a plastic mask, like it was
like an
a
astronaut,
literal,
like a screen, like
yes,
a glass screen, a plastic screen.
like it was a real mask. So she looked at me with a smile on her face, and she's like, "You want to know why I'm gowned up?" And I was just like, "For the baby's sake, like, you know, like I said something stupid because what was I supposed to say?" She was like, "Oh no, we think you have coronavirus."
Haha, bitch. Haha, hell.
That is not funny. Why are you smiling? Like, so right after that, I started freaking out. I was like, what the hell? So then she was like, oh, you're gonna get checked for the coronavirus, blah, blah. They had one lady come in, try to clean up the whole room and try to help me. So when you give birth, I didn't have a epidural. I couldn't walk. I had a catheter. Like, I needed things to be done for me that could not be done because no one would come in the room. No one would come clean us up. No one would help us. So one lady came in eventually, started doing stuff, but there was so much to do that she couldn't even get through all of it before she had to leave, I feel like. So they tested me for the coronavirus. They put the swab stick down my throat, and then they put the same one in my nose. And then they had someone come from the lab, and she was hella cool. She took my blood super fast, like really fast, but she took so much of my blood, like I thought I was gonna pass out for sure. They took so much of my blood, it's not even funny. Cool. Came back like 2-3 hours later to check our temperatures again, and mine and Nisai's temperatures were gone. All that shit in my temperature was gone.
They could have just waited.
We
could have left that night, I feel like.
Damn near, yeah. So mind you, they finally take her weight and all that. They finally check my temperature again, and my temperature's gone. One lady's trying to clean up the whole room. It just sucked. And then,
but at that moment, it didn't feel like that. Mm-hmm. It felt like, oh my God, like, she's here. Yeah. So like we weren't feeling like this right now. We're just talking like this now because after we've looked back at it, it's like, damn, we got treated damn like shit.
Yeah.
But
when we were there, moment, we were so happy. It didn't really matter.
It didn't matter at all. We were fed up once they all got out the room and everything. Like we were fine the whole time, but once everyone got out the room, it was just us. It was just like, I don't know. That's when we started noticing more shit. It was just like annoying, and we were just fed up, ready to get out of there. We hadn't eaten. Like I said, we've been stuck in the room, so like we just wanted to get out of the room. We wanted to take her home. We were all types of angry too.
So when you give birth, after they clean everything up and everything's okay, they take you to another room, and it's supposed to be more like a hotel stay.
The recovery
room, blah blah. Nope, we stayed in our delivery room, our nasty ass delivery room, until 5 a.m. the next day. I gave birth at 2 p.m. on the 21st. We did not move until 5 a.m. on the 22nd. Yeah. Which really sucked because the room was disgusting. Yeah. It was gross. They didn't clean up anything really.
I couldn't use the bathroom. There was too much shit everywhere.
Yeah. So finally, at 5 a.m. they came into our room and they woke us up and they were like, oh, your test came back and you don't have the coronavirus. And then they finally took us to another room that next day. Everything in that room was fine except for there was another doctor that came in. A new doctor, was a new shift, and we had not seen him. All he had done was read about us, basically. And I asked him like when we can leave, blah blah blah, and he was like, well, I like to watch over my patients for 24 hours.
The fuck
I was like, you want me to stay here for 24 hours because you just got here? Like, no, I've been here.
My shift is over, nigga. Yeah. Oh, my mama.
It was, I don't know. That's the only thing that I didn't like about the other room. And then, yeah, so we stayed there until 6 p.m. on May 22nd, and then we finally got to go home, and we took her home. We got home about 7. And now we have a sweet little baby. That's pretty much everything that happened at the hospital. She's 3 weeks old, and on Thursday it will be her 1-month birthday. I am going to be doing an updated video about more about the postpartum stuff and about breastfeeding because I learned a lot already about breastfeeding, and I do want to just touch on that a little bit too. So if you are interested in that, please watch out for that video because it will be coming soon. But yeah, this is the end of our labor and delivery story. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Is that labor and delivery? I'm sorry Nisea never woke up for this whole video. She's been asleep.
That's all she does. That's literally all she does.
Eat and sleep, eat and sleep. But this is our little baby. Look at her double chin.
Let me hold my mouth.
Stretch. Look at that neck. Alright, so thanks for watching our video, and please like and subscribe down below, and come back to watch more of me and my little family.
Bye. Look, bye.